that ball game in just a moment. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One.
Hey, it's Michael Fabiano. The playoffs are here. The stakes are higher than ever. And there's no better way to turn playoff football's big game energy into 100 times your money than Prize Picks. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less than their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's that easy. You could turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Get in the lab and cook up your winning entry. Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks is matching your first deposit up to $100 when you download the Prize Picks app and use code PRIMETIME. That's code PRIMETIME on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Okay, I have to admit, 2024 really snuck up on me. Luckily, Kohl's has everything my family needs to start the new year out right. With the 15% off going on, I got my husband and I Flex Styles under $30 and Tech Gear Activewear under $20. I also found a NutriBullet juicer for just $79.99. To top it all off, I earned Kohl's cash too. So, it's not too late to make a resolution, right? Offers end January 15th. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Wake up not knowing what you want? Now you can have a little of everything. With Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles, you can mix and match your very own perfect pairing of our delicious morning favorites. Choose from the sausage biscuit, egg or cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. The choice is all yours, not somebody else's. Get breakfast just the way you want it with Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles today. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Back at the post-game show, Scott Graham with you from our Westwood One studios. Game 1 today in Houston at NRG Stadium. The 4 seed, the Houston Texans. The 5 seed, the Cleveland Browns. Lots of great storylines going on in this game. And as I said before we took the break, a tremendously entertaining first half. Houston got into the red zone first and came up short at the 2-yard line. Kaimi Fairbairn with a 21-yard field goal. That came at the 5:29 mark of the first quarter, and Houston had a 3-0 lead. But ultimately, that is where the scoring parade started. Cleveland Browns ended up getting themselves a score after a 45-yard pass to David Njoku got them started on a 6-play, 75-yard drive. Kareem Hunt got in from 1 yard out. With the extra point, it was a 7-3 game with Cleveland on top. As I said, this was back and forth like a heavyweight fight at this point. The next drive for the Houston Texans only took 4 plays to go 75 yards, and the track meet was on.
Second down and 6. We are down to 18 seconds left here in the first. Fake the pitch. Looking to the left. Stroud throws it. Catch made. Collins. Collins works to the sideline. Looking for the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown. 16 yards on the catch and run. Stroud to Collins is a lethal combination. And the Texans go back in front. 9-7 with the extra point coming.
Seesaw was moving fast in the second quarter, though. The next time Cleveland got the ball, 6 plays, 75 yards. They took it right back again.
Shotgun. Flacco takes the snap. Shovel pass over the middle. Punt by Hunt. He's got room. Hunt to the end zone. Touchdown. 11 yards. Joe Flacco laid it out there perfectly for Kareem Hunt. Kevin Stefanski is pushing all the right buttons. And the Browns now in front, 13-10 with the extra point coming.
Riley Patterson hit that extra point to make it a 14-10 game, and that lead lasted a good long time. As long as it takes one guy to run 76 yards.
So first down at the 24-yard line for Houston. Now down 14-10. Moving from right to left. Play fake. Boot to the right. Floater for Jordan. It's caught. The tight end's got it. 35 makes a move. 40. 45, 50. Oh, he's down the right sideline. Brevin Jordan is gone. 76 yards. Touchdown, Texans. Martin Emerson did not bring him down. And the athletic Brevin Jordan takes it the distance for Houston.
The extra point, it was a 17-14 game, and we were looking at a seesaw, but that seesaw finally did stop. Ultimately, though, Houston did tack on a score late in the first half at the end of an 8-play, 71-yard drive. The C.J. Stroud showed the ability to keep a play alive, let a playmaker make a play.
Fake the handoff. Boot to the right. Stroud is going to throw the deep ball up in the air. It is caught. Touchdown. Dalton Schultz. A rainbow for 37 yards. C.J. Stroud can do no wrong. And the Texans add to their lead. 23-14 with 1:11 to play first half.
C.J. Stroud had already set a record for a rookie in a playoff game for passing yardage and thrown 3 touchdowns in the first half. It was 24-14, Houston on top. You assumed this game would get close again in the second half. If you assumed that, you were wrong. Joe Flacco led a drive in the third quarter, getting Cleveland close to try to creep back a little bit closer in the ballgame. But when pressure came, it was a bit too much. Time for our Wrangler highlight of the game.
Line of scrimmage is now the 34. Shotgun for Flacco. Takes the snap, steps up. Flacco under duress. He throws it. Intercepted along the near side. Picked off, running down the sideline is Steven Nelson, and he could go. Nelson to the 15, the 10. Nelson breaks away. Touchdown. 83 yards. The Houston Texans doing it on both ends. A pick six for the veteran Nelson. 30-14 Houston. Joe Flacco intercepted. And a big one for the Texans.
That's the highlight of the game, sponsored by Wrangler, 75 years of history and still blazing trails. Check out Wrangler.com today to discover new styles and all the latest denim trends. Wrangler, for the ride of life. 31-14, the game might have been over, but of course Cleveland still had a throwing chance. That chance came to an end 2 minutes later.
We're down to 4:15 to go in the third quarter. Flacco operating out of the gun. Flacco looks, he throws, it is intercepted. Christian Harris down the left side. Nobody's there, and it's Harris to the house. Touchdown, Texans. It's a pick party in Houston. 35 yards.
A big party, Ian, and Joe Flacco is the guest of honor.
He certainly was. Couple of interceptions, both of them brought back to the house. Devin Singletary tacked on a touchdown early in the fourth, and Houston wins it 45-14. They'll find out their opponent upcoming, but Houston Texans have punched their ticket to the divisional round. The Cleveland Browns see their season come to an end today at NRG Stadium. That's game one of our doubleheader here on Super Wildcard Weekend. Game number 2 getting set to go at Arrowhead Stadium. The Miami Dolphins and Kansas City Chiefs getting together, and we're going to get a preview now from the guys calling the action, Kevin Harlan and Ross Tucker. And Kevin, I know we're going to be scoreboard watching tonight, but I have a feeling that we also might be thermometer watching in Kansas City.
Hey, Scott, thank you very much. It is -3 right now with the wind chill, -19 at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins. We are 11 stories up. Our windows are fogging up. We hope we can see the game, Ross. We're so high and so cold. It feels like we're on the top of a mountain. But here we are, and here are the fans. It will not be completely sold out, but there are some hardy souls out here braving the temperatures as the Chiefs and Dolphins are on the field right now, warming up and trying to get acclimated. You've played in some cold games yourself in your career.
I have, yeah. In fact, I played in one of the 10 coldest games in Buffalo Bills history. But even that, I think, Kev, the wind chill was 4 degrees. So this is significantly colder than even one of the coldest 10 games in Buffalo Bills history. So I think it gives even new meaning to the word warming up.
Yes. Well, they're trying to warm up right now. And, of course, they've got the heated benches and they've got all the different heating mechanisms on each sideline, but the wind is so fierce, it's going to play a role tonight.
Every aspect of what you and I are looking at right now is going to play an aspect, right? It's the temperature, it's the wind, and it's the field conditions. You know, I saw when they took the tarp off a little bit earlier, Kev, it's interesting. It looks almost like an ice skating rink. There's this layer, this thin layer of ice snow. It looks like the field is hard as a rock. I'm going to be really curious, especially as we start this game, to see whether or not guys are sliding around or whether or not they also change out their cleats.
This is the second time this season that these two teams have met. The first meeting mid-season in Germany. You've watched that game a couple times. What have you taken from watching that game over?
Well, it's interesting because the Chiefs got off to a great start. They were up 21-0 at halftime. It was really total domination. The biggest play happened at the end of the first half when they were able to get the ball ripped away. Trent McDuffie from Tyreek Hill returned it for a touchdown. Brian Cook did, which was obviously gigantic. But then the Dolphins came back, and the Dolphins got to within 21-14. They were in Chiefs territory. So it really, Kev, was a tale of two halves. And so now the question is, will this game be more like the first half, more like the second half, or a totally different game altogether like we saw in that Browns-Texans game earlier?
We have two of the best passers in the NFL, Tua Tagovailoa for the Miami Dolphins, and of course Patrick Mahomes, who unimaginably is playing in his 15th consecutive home playoff game. I looked at that a couple times. Aside from playing at the Super Bowl, every playoff game he's been involved with has been in this stadium.
That is incredible, and I think that's one thing a lot of people are curious about this year, Kevin, is with the Chiefs being the 3 seed, if they get the win tonight, they very likely have to play 1, maybe 2 games on the road. But it starts with getting the win tonight against the most explosive offense in the NFL, in the Miami Dolphins. Tua, you mentioned it, has just had an incredible year, but this is his first playoff start. Remember, he was hurt last year. Skylar Thompson got the start in Buffalo for the Dolphins. So we're about to see what Tua can do. As we all know, he's a Hawaii kid that played in Alabama, plays in South Florida. These are not ideal conditions for him, but he feels like he's up to the task.
Matt Nagy, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, was asked the number one priority tonight. He said ball control. That will be on our radar as well as the Dolphins take on the Chiefs. And Scott Graham, we send it back to you.
Number one priority on the night is going to be keeping the heater going on the sidelines, but we're going to be checking in Kansas City in just a bit. Of course, cold day could very well mean more ground game, and that could be good news for the Dolphins and Raheem Mostert, who's missed the last 2 games, trying to play his way back in. Guy who had 21 overall touchdowns this year, including 18 on the ground. I asked him about how tough it was sitting out those last 2 games at the end of the regular season.
It's a little frustrating, just because you feel like you could, help the team. And I look at myself as being a key guy, but I also view myself as, hey, look, this is a marathon and not a sprint. And, missing games, of course, is always tough for a player. But in the grand scheme of things, you really have to sit back as a player and say, am I doing the right thing? So that way I could, be 100% at my best in order to, play in these playoff games. And that was a situation that I was in.
Your season has been a marvelous one in so many ways for you personally and for what you've been able to bring to this team. And in terms of the touchdowns, I was talking with CeeDee Lamb this week, and I asked him, when you get into a touchdown situation in the NFL, it's hard to do. And he said that he believed it was kind of hard work meeting opportunity. Is that a good way to put it?
Oh, yeah, that's a great analogy of it. Hard work and dedication. You're working your tail off as players. We work day in and day out to try to perfect our craft. And when you get the opportunity to go in, it's pretty much rewarding. I'm trying to just push the envelope as much as I can because as a player, you don't want to go on the field and feel like you're just out there just to be out there. You want to get something out of it, and what better way than to score touchdowns?
You've seen these guys once before. When you look at a game like this one, do you expect that you're going to see things that are going to be different wrinkles they're going to throw at you, or do you expect to see a lot of the same types of things?
Yeah, I believe that we're going to see a lot of the same thing just because Spags over there, he's an unbelievable coordinator. He has that defense playing their type of ball, their defense, and he's going to go out there and he's going to put everything on the line and put all his chips out there and call up these plays for them to win. But, you're always going to have some wrinkles within that defense. They're going to do some things from, the first game that's going to be completely different now, when we played them in Germany. So there's going to be a lot of the same stuff, but then you're going to also have to expect a lot of different things as well.
From your perspective, we've talked about this before. We've talked about you coming from Purdue, starting out with the Eagles, the times that you did not get an opportunity, and then you did get an opportunity, and it was with the Niners. That postseason that led to that Super Bowl you had in the championship game, one of the greatest games a running back in the postseason has ever had. Do you still carry that moment with you?
Yeah, I definitely do. Not going to lie, just to be able to, reminisce and look back and appreciate that moment that I had. Everything was working just perfect, and definitely going to cherish that moment for the rest of my life, and even in the next life, of course. It's one that really turned my career around.
How are you ever going to forget a game in which you had 220 yards and 4 touchdowns in an NFC championship game? You also scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl while the Niners were going down to the Chiefs. This Kansas City Chiefs team is a team that hasn't been as profound offensively all year long. And tonight, with the weather, who knows if that might get in the way. But Patrick Mahomes doesn't seem to be bothered about the weather at Arrowhead tonight.
What could be better, man? Playing playoff football January at Arrowhead Stadium. It's going to be cold. Kind of is what it is. I'd rather be playing a football game than chasing my kids around the backyard. So I'll have a little bit of the adrenaline rush, and I'm excited for it.
They're going to be chasing you around your backyard, but right now the temperature continues to go down. Right now, it's moving toward minus 20 degrees for kickoff time, just a few minutes away at Arrowhead. Once again, our final score, the Houston Texans 45, the Cleveland Browns 14. You're listening to the NFL Playoffs on Westwood One.
Chris Brockman here from the world-famous Rich Eisen Show, and the playoffs are now. The stakes are higher than they've ever been, and there's no better way to turn the playoff football's big game energy into 100 times your money than Prize Picks. Just select 2 or more players. Pick more or less their projection for a wide variety of stats and place your entry. Boom! It's that easy. You could turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, an enormous selection of players and stat options are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Get in the lab and cook up your winning entry. Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks is matching your first deposit of up to $100 when you download the Prize Picks app and use the code PRIMETIME. That's code PRIMETIME on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1, find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2, have a plan to get there. Step 3, make from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Welcome back to the post-game show following Game 1 of our doubleheader. The Houston Texans over the Cleveland Browns, 45-14. Stay tuned. We've got game number 2 coming up on many of these same stations. Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins. This is playoff time, but this is also postseason time when coaching changes are made. And there were a number of major coaching changes this week, but one much bigger than all the others.
Brady under center, victory formation, takes the snap, falls to a knee, and that'll do it. The New England Patriots have won. The Patriots, their second Super Bowl championship in the last 3 years. And they have tied an NFL record with 6 Super Bowl championships. Belichick will win his 6th Super Bowl as the head coach. Number 1, the Patriots have won Super Bowl 53.
It was a coronation of sorts in Super Bowl 53, which validated what we all already knew. Over a stretch of 24 seasons as a head coach of the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick established a method, a culture, and a dynasty, which dominated parts of 2 decades. That era in New England has come to an end, with nothing but respect from the man who traded for Bill back in 2000, Patriots owner Robert Kraft.
Coach Belichick will forever be celebrated as a legendary sports icon here in New England, and I believe go in as a Pro Football Hall of Famer on the first ballot. Why? Because he is the greatest coach of all time.
What was behind the method that produced such unrivaled success? For one, the winningest quarterback of all time, who led the Patriots in each of Belichick's Super Bowl wins. Tom Brady says the formula was really quite simple. Do your job.
He demands a very high level of execution. I think that urgency forces players to either buy in or not buy in. And if you don't buy in, you're not a part of the team. And if you do buy in, you've proven that he can achieve some great results. And that's what makes a great coach. A great coach brings the best out of his players. And I really feel Coach Belichick has always done that.
Not just by demanding effort and execution, but also by handing his players the best possible chance to succeed. According to three-time Super Bowl champ and Patriot for life, Devin McCourty.
If I could recall every time we were here in a meeting room, if we do this, this will happen. If we let them play the game this way, it will be really hard. But if we do this, we'll win. And you would go play these games, and we'd be midway through the second quarter, and you'd be like, man, Bill was right. Like, how the heck did he know that?
What happens next is still to be determined. With a new team and a new start, Belichick has the chance to surpass Hall of Famer Don Shula for the most coaching victories all time. But the closing of this chapter comes first. And for a man who rarely showed emotion in his 2+ decades in Foxborough, Belichick was reflective and grateful as he said goodbye.
It's with just so many fond memories and thoughts that I think about the Patriots and I'll always be a Patriot. Always very, very appreciative of the opportunity here, the support here, and what you've done for me.
It's a phrase that's used too often, but the end of an era in New England, and there will be another chapter somewhere. You would expect that to be true. We don't know where that chapter is going to be, but this chapter is one that we're going to be looking back on for a long time as one of the greatest in NFL history. The final score, Houston 45, Cleveland 14. You've been listening to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs. Today's broadcast has been sponsored by AutoZone, by Barbasol Shaving Cream, by Granger, by Progressive Insurance, by NFL.com, and by BetMGM, the official odds provider for Westwood One. Please gamble responsibly. I want to thank our crew for this afternoon. Studio coordinator Art Martinez, studio producer Brian Finkelstein, production assistance provided by Charlie Barker and Nick Pope, our statistician Robert Arguello, our spotter Jim Stamos, engineer Mike Pirtle, producer Tim Parker, production supervisor Aaron Cummins, coordinating producer Mike Eby, the executive producer of Westwood One Sports is Howard Deneroff. Stay tuned for Game 2 of our NFL Super Wildcard Playoff doubleheader. Up next, the Kansas City Chiefs host the Miami Dolphins. Kevin Harlan, Ross Tucker, and Olivia Decker will bring you all the action. Then tomorrow, it's another playoff doubleheader. First, the Green Bay Packers visit the Dallas Cowboys, and the Los Angeles Rams face the Detroit Lions. Coverage begins at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time on most of these same stations. You can catch all those games right here on many of these same stations on the NFL app or streamed live for free on our website, WestwoodOneSports.com. From the wild card round all the way to Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, the NFL playoffs are on Westwood One. Once again, our final score from Houston. The Texans send a message. They beat the Cleveland Browns 45-14. For Ian Eagle, Jason McCourty, and A.J. Ross, I'm Scott Graham. Thanks for joining us. You've been listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One.
You're home for NFL Sunday all season long in Hayes and Great Bend. It's KXNC, Net City, 104.7 KISS FM. If it's Super Wildcard Weekend, it's on Westwood One.
Good evening, everyone, from Kansas City, and welcome to Arrowhead Stadium for Game 2 of our NFL Super Wildcard Playoff doubleheader. It's the AFC West champion and the defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, taking on the Miami Dolphins. Tonight's broadcast of the National Football League on Westwood One, sponsored by Barbasol Shaving Cream, AutoZone, by Granger, Just Capital, Wrangler, and by NFL.com. It is -2 with a wind chill of -21 in Kansas City tonight. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan along with Ross Tucker and our sideline reporter, Olivia Decker, who will join us with all those kinds of interesting details from being outside and on that field shortly from the sideline. As will Scott Graham from our Westwood One studios. Welcome to Game 2 of our wild card playoff doubleheader here in Kansas City. In Game 1, the Texans took care of the Browns 45-14. More on that later on, but first it's time for the Dolphins and the Chiefs. And Ross Tucker, I say good evening to you. Two teams coming into tonight under very different circumstances.
Well, they really are, Kevin. I mean, the Chiefs have won their last couple games. They were actually able to rest a bunch of their players last week against the Chargers. No Patrick Mahomes, no Travis Kelce, no L'Jarius Sneed. Obviously, those guys are all back tonight. Meanwhile, the Dolphins had to play till the bitter end last Sunday night against the Bills, trying to win the AFC East. They weren't able to get it done, and they lost a bunch of players in the process. Andrew Van Ginkel and Jerome Baker. They already earlier in the year lost Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. So they've been signing 3 edge rushers, outside linebacker types, who are all going to see snaps tonight. They're kind of limping into this one.
The Dolphins are on the field and on the heated benches. The Chiefs are being introduced, and the fireworks smoke that was above the stadium now blown out. The wind is that strong. Do these Chiefs feel to you like a defending Super Bowl champion?
No, it's been a weird year. If you look at it, for Patrick Mahomes, career low in terms of 6 losses, the points per game, the yards per game, the yards per attempt, touchdown interception ratio, everything we've come to realize and believe about Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, it's been a disappointing year. But it's been the defense on the other side that has really led this team to this point.
Game 2 of our NFL wildcard doubleheader between the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs is coming up on Westwood 1.
Chris Brockman here from the world-famous Rich Eisen Show, and the playoffs are now. The stakes are higher than they've ever been, and there's no better way to turn the playoff football's big game energy into 100 times your money than Prize Picks. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. Boom! It's that easy. You could turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Get in the lab and cook up your winning entry. Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks is matching your first deposit of up to $100 when you download the Prize Picks app and use the code PRIMETIME. That's code PRIMETIME on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Welcome back to Frigid Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Time now for Ross Tucker to tell us how each team tonight can take control of this game. Ross's keys are sponsored by Empower. Take control of financial future and empower what's next. Get your free dashboard at empower.com. Let's begin when the Dolphins have it with the most prolific passer this season in the NFL, the Dolphins starter Tua Tagovailoa.
Kevin, absolutely critical that the Dolphins get off to a fast start. I know you can say that about any team in any game, but especially in these weather conditions and those guys coming from South Florida, if they get behind early, especially behind by 2 scores, it could get ugly. Dolphins need to get the jump on the Chiefs this time, and I think the way they can do that is running the ball with their 2-headed monster. They have both Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert. Nobody hits the hole as fast as those guys do. I think they have a real opportunity to run the ball on the Chiefs here tonight.
All right, when Patrick Mahomes, who again is over 4,000 yards passing, and the Kansas City offense has it against the Miami defense.
It starts up front for the Chiefs. They need to dominate the interior. That's the strength of the offensive line, but that's also the strength of the Dolphins' defensive line. Zach Sealer has a career-high 10 sacks. Christian Wilkins, 9.5. That's the key battle there. And then on defense, just nothing deep, right? We know about Jalen Waddle. We know about Tyreek Hill. Keep everything in front of you. The Chiefs have actually done a pretty darn good job of that all season long.
All right, coming up, we'll go live to the field and check in with our sideline reporter, Olivia Decker. This is Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs.
Decision Valley Golf Center in Hayes is the perfect place to take your friends, family, or that special someone for an evening of fun. They have virtual driving ranges that simulate the top courses in America. They also have a fantastic mini golf course outside along with a driving range. And for the hardcore golf enthusiasts, you'll find a complete pro shop with all the top brand names in the game. If you haven't been to the Precision Valley Golf Center in Hayes, then you're missing out. Get in the game. Go see them today at 1500 West 27th Street in Hayes.
Get ahead of the fall rush with Worth Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning of Hayes. Don't wait until the chill sets in. Our skilled technicians are standing by to make sure your home is ready for the changing season. Schedule your plumbing and heating system checkup now and experience worry-free comfort all season long. Worth Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning of Hayes.
Sunlight, because you're worth it.
Telephone, wireless, internet, and TV. Connected all together with GVT. When your home or business needs security, connect it all together with GVT. Nextech Wireless has a plan to serve your needs. See how easy switching over now can be. We're the gateway to broadband and technology. Connect it all together with GVT.
Winter heating bills constrain family budgets. The Low Income Energy Assistance Program, or LEAP, helps eligible households pay part of their home energy costs with a one-time per year benefit. Midwest Energy and Kansas DCF are hosting LEAP sign-up events Tuesday, January 30th in Hayes from 10 to 2 at the Hayes Public Library and in Colby on Wednesday, January 31st from 10 to 2 at the Colby Event Center. Lunch will be served and you can sign up on site for LEAP. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative making energy work for you.
And more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Back at Arrowhead, let's check the weather report, sponsored by Prize Picks. Make this game even more exciting with Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Sign up now and make your picks right up to the fourth quarter. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions. -3 and -21 wind chill, but Olivia Decker on the sideline, I don't have to tell you that. You are feeling every degree there, aren't you?
I absolutely am, and so are the players, but luckily the field is in good condition. We've walked around it. There's salt pebbles everywhere, but no icy spots because it is heated. Thousands of feet of pipe snake sideline to sideline underneath this natural grass surface. That makes it softer, which is then safer for these players. Now,